Thanks for joining us for a tutorial on the basic syntax of Quirrel. Today we're going to cover some of the basic operations such as load, the assignment operator, a filtered descent with the dot operator, and the basic syntax of functions. To get started in any query, you always need to have some data loaded, and you can do that using the / command. So / subscription will load all of the data that is in the subscription path, and you can run that query using the run button over here, or you can also hit Shift Enter. So then we see our data pop up down here. And one of the next things we might want to do is, particularly if we had a really long path that was longer and more descriptive than subscription, maybe we had a couple of subpaths, we might want to assign that to another variable for ease of use. And so we call that something like data, or something more descriptive if we were working in a more complicated environment. And then we can go and run that query. And we get an error, which is exactly what we'd expect in Quirrel, because all we've done is use the assignment operator, this : equals, to assign the subscription data into this variable called data, but we haven't told Quirrel to return anything. So to get the result we may have been expecting, we just need to go ahead and return the variable that we assigned the data into, and run the query again, and we see we get the data we might have been expecting back again. The next thing we can look at is something known as filtered descent, and that allows you to look at just one particular column or subset of the data. So for example, we have a column of data here called timestamp. So if we didn't want to look at all of this data, but we wanted to refer to just the timestamp data, we can use the dot operator, and that is data.timestamp. Go ahead and run that query. And we notice that the timestamp data also comes with its own object, which has multiple layers. So we could even filter further down into this data by using the dot operator again, like we might expect. So we could do data.timestamp .month, and then we would get all the values just from the timestamp month data. So a filtered descent allows you to descend farther and farther into objects and return exactly the value you want to. The last thing we'll go ahead and cover is the function syntax. And so functions work much like you'd expect. You get some function, like perhaps count. We want to count up all the months. And you get parentheses, and then the arguments go inside the parentheses. In this case, the arguments are just the item that we filtered down to. So it's data.timestamp.month, and so we're just counting up all the instances of those. So we can go and run that query. And this is an example of one of many reductive functions in Quirrel. You can also get the sum, the mean, anything like that, that will collapse an entire subset down into one value. But there are also other kinds of functions in Quirrel as well. But they all work in the same way of having the parentheses with the arguments inside, just like you would expect for a function. So that's going to be it for basic syntax. Thanks for your time, and look for future tutorials.